All right, y'all. It's time for some more action for the little MG. We are going to do some maintenance stuff that probably hasn't been touched in over 20 years on that little car. We're gonna do a coolant flush, an oil change the belts, of course, the oil filter, maybe some fuel system stuff. We've actually been tinkering with it. It hasn't been wanting to run for us, and we believe that it's sucked some junk up from the nasty old original fuel tank. So we've got some tinkering to do, but that's totally expected. It's an old car and it's been sitting a long time, so it deserves some TLC, and we're gonna give it to it. Mission 1 is to get the car from this bay to the lift bay.
Okay, that'll be fine. I don't know why that's not pumping.
The fuel pump's just acting a fool.
There's a wire nut on it. It's not supposed to be there.
Is that like a home wire nut?
Yep.
For like household stuff? Yeah, interesting. So what's happening right now is we are getting ready to pop a temporary fuel pump in the car because the factory one is acting up. So we're gonna stick a temporary one in there. Aaron's got a new sander that we got from CP. He's gonna sand the spot so that we get a good ground, and hopefully then we'll be able to pump some fuel up to that little carburetor and she'll run for us. Complete with sound effects. Alrighty, let's see if this will pump some fuel for us to make a run. Alrighty, let's see if she's pumping fuel. Oh yeah, ooh, nasty. Yeah, it's some gross looking fuel, but we got some.
It'll burn.
It'll burn.
Just put her in the carb. No big deal.
Probably need to put some fresh in the tank.
Yeah, we definitely do.
We need to get a new tank.
Yep. That's true.
Get in this shop, boy. Come on, Finley. Sure doing good work, Aaron Reeves.
Well, thank you. I don't know too much about these gasoline engines, but I can make them run.
You still haven't driven this car.
I haven't.
That's just crazy.
I know. Gotta make it legal. The alternator's got more cubic inch than the engine.
So true. The alternator looks big. The engine is tiny. All right, are we ready to do some work on her? Actual, like what we intended to do work?
Yeah, now she runs. I think we drain the oil out, put some new oil in, and then clean the coolant out.
Yeah.
And it's time to go to town.
Emily, you're gonna get your hair caught in the creeper. Let's see what size our drain plug is. I guess I need safety glasses. pretty gross looking oil. Alrighty, the oil is draining in the pan. Let's see about getting that filter off. So removing this filter looks like it could be one of those situations that gets oil all down this side and underneath of your car with no real good way to catch it. I'm sure there's lots of tricks like poking a hole and funneling the oil that comes out of the hole so that your filter has less oil in it, which I should probably do, but I'm gonna just wing it and just try and take it off fast. Maybe put this rag up underneath it to catch whatever I can. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I screwed up. I thought I was rolling this camera when I took the oil filter off, but I was not. I did roll a camera facing my feet to show the potential huge mess, but it was only a little bitty mess. And the oil filter came off quite easily. So that was awesome. Now I will put a new one on. Usually I would fill the filter up with oil before I install it so that we don't crank it up dry. But being that this filter is installed sideways, I will for sure make a huge mess. So I'm going to avoid that. All right, plugs back in. Okie dokie, time to give her some fresh oil. I just did a quick Google search to see how much oil, like what capacity, and it looks like about 4.5 quarts. We've got Kendall's GT1 Max in a 530. She gonna like it. Chug-a-lug, little lady. Third quart going in. So we need to crank it up and get some oil into the filter. That should be good, right? Now I gotta find the dipstick. Hidden under the header. Oh. Header's hot too, FYI.
I believe it.
That is a funny little dipstick. Looks like a good level to us. Calling it good. Oil cap is back on, plug is back in, new filter, oil level is great. I think we're moving on to coolant system. Okay, y'all, it's time for coolant system fun. We have a whole kit from our friends at Peak Auto to do a coolant flush, to flush this coolant system out that probably hasn't been touched since the turn of the century.
Yep, if you don't know, engines are made of metal. Metal and water rust times 20 years. Drain the brown stuff out, put good stuff in. That's it. Let's get to work.
Yeah, that. So in trying to drain this radiator, I think I'm gonna take the hose off the top here. And this is actually the lower hose. I'm gonna try and snake it down to funnel it into my container to where it doesn't make a huge mess, because right here, it's not gonna have a super good outcome as far as going into a bucket. It's gonna go everywhere if I take it down. If I take the hose off from down there. I'm just gonna try this. See if I can not make a crazy big mess. Aaron, do you think this will work?
I think it'll do something.
Oh, I forgot to take this off. To relieve the pressure. Don't you love it when the hose is so corroded to the water neck that it won't come off? I do. It's so fun. Ooh. It actually doesn't look that bad. That looks fresh. Taking the bottom off now. Pliers. finally loose. Okay, we're about to make a mess. I can feel it. Oh boy. God. You guys, this is clean. How is this even a reality? So Aaron and I were saying that this car really does act like it's low mileage. The odometer says that it only has like 12,000 miles on it. The coolant system is so insanely clean. It hasn't been driven for 20 years. How is it this nice? I was really looking forward to one of those super satisfying videos that the coolant goes from super gross brown rusty to beautiful, brilliant, clear green. This is crazy. Babe, look at this coolant.
It's pretty clean.
It's so clean, what the heck? Well, it looks like it only holds like a gallon. Okay, hose is back on, let's put some fresh water in it. So Aaron said, I'm gonna go get you some water. And he brought me a watering can. So this is gonna be something. I could get a funnel, you know.
We have a leak. It seems to be going on the floor.
Well, I did spill a bunch, but do we actually have a leak?
Well, there's about half a gallon on the floor, so.
Well, babe, it was hard to get it into the hole. Hard to get it into the, so.
All right.
I guess we need to crank it up and get it pumping through the radiator. So the kitty litter's for underneath, right?
Okay.
Hey! Hey, what's up, Lily?
Hi.
She said hi again.
It's open.
Oh, hi, Aaron. Oh, Lily, you have pockets? Love you. So, per the instructions of our flush from Peak, we're supposed to put fresh water in, run it, get it hot, drain it out, and then put fresh water in with the actual flush. So now that we've run it with just water, we're gonna let that cool for a bit, then drain that out, then put more water in, put the flush in, and then we will get some cleansing action. We'll see y'all in a few. Okay, the reservoir is full. I'm gonna crank her up. Let her heat up again. Okay, so I was just running the car a bunch. It's got the coolant flush in it, and I added a little water as I saw that it was circulating and got lower in the reservoir. I'm gonna crank it back up because I shut it off real fast. It was making a loud gurgling sound, and I don't know if that's just like air pockets working through the system or what. So, yeah, there's definitely stuff happening in there. The cleaner, let me get my flashlight. Well, the reservoir is almost all the way empty. So, it's definitely running that junk through. And I think I'll crank it back up and let it circulate more. Okie dokie, let's take this lower radiator hose back off and get the flush out. It didn't run as much as the instructions really wanted it to. Like, they want you to drive it around for a while with the flush in it. So hopefully it did some work here. Still astonished at how clean the coolant was coming out of the car. What the heck? Like a brand new car. Well, that's coming out dirty-ish. I think it did some cleaning in there. That's good. Going back on with the hose. Time to put some fresh antifreeze in there. So this was pretty interesting for us because we did not expect the coolant to be this clean in that little MG. The car is a 1976 model and it has sat for 20 years. And we assumed that it would have rust and debris and definitely corrosion in the system. And when we first drained it and it was this clean, that was really surprising. So I didn't know what to expect when we put the cleaner through it. And evidently, it's a good example of even coolant systems that are clean, that are seem to be pretty dang good, can still have some contaminants that could be cleaned out. I mean, this did something. It cleaned out some junk that we didn't know was in there. So I'm glad that we did this. I'm certain that it will help the car stay cooler and this coolant system last longer. And that was a really surprising, fun experiment. Now it's time to put some fresh coolant in it and call this job done. Time for some fresh antifreeze. The cleanup crew can get that trash later. I'm the cleanup crew. Okay, I really should use a funnel, but I'm not. Focus. Stopping there, gonna crank her up, let it circulate, and add more. I love how fast this car fires up. You just tap the key just the slightest bit, and she's like, let's go! For a minute, but could you hear the radiator like clicking? And I think it was because it was pushing an air bubble or an air pocket through the system. It was doing that earlier and I didn't catch it on film, but I think I got that. It was interesting. It stopped now, but when you put your hand on the radiator you can feel it. Interesting. Alrighty, we shut her off, the thermostat opened, and she's ready for more coolant. Well, it looks like it's at a good level now. I'll put the cap back on and I think we're wrapping this job. Oh, so sweet. This little car, she's kind of a gem. Okay, calling it good. Nice. That's a wrap on another episode here on Flying Sparks Garage. We absolutely love this little car. It integrated perfectly into our lineup, and I know so many of you were like, give it to your mom, give it to your mom. Technically, this is our car, but she's got full reign of it. And when Erin and I discussed the alternative of giving it to her and having it in her name and everything, I know my mother, Erin knows her so well. We both know that when stuff broke on this car, which is evident, it's going to happen. It's an old car.
And it's an MG. They break. Let's be honest. They're not reliable.
We just didn't want to have that on her where she felt like, I need to buy parts. all that stuff. We wanted that to be on us, and to have her get the keys and be like, anytime you want to drive it, Mom, come get it. Or even just have it in your driveway. I mean, she lives right next door. So, I mean, this car will be hers, but if we keep it in our name and it belongs to us, then all the responsibility of fixing it is on us, and buying the parts is on us. We didn't want that to be a burden on her. So all of you that said give it to your mom, it's happened. It's her car anytime she wants to drive it, but we will pay for all the parts and modifications and all the junk that breaks, which we feel best about. So we are so grateful for the ability to have a YouTube channel to document our adventures, and a huge part of our ability to do that is working with companies like Kindle Motor Oil and Peak. Those guys were both integrated on this episode. Please support those companies, because it means that we can keep doing what we want to do here in the shop and make videos for y'all. It means the world to us for those companies to look at us and say, hey, we want to team up with y'all. So having y'all support them is the greatest compliment you could give us. So we appreciate y'all so much watching and subscribing and commenting, and we will see you guys next time.